professionalism I go through to make a live stream. I've just actually found out that the audio was terrible earlier. Look at the rig up now. Boosh. So we've got the Rode interview mic on a proper mic stand with the proper thing, with the phone stood on a tripod at the right level. Amazing. Still an iPhone 7 though. You'll have to let me know what the audio sounds like. Hopefully it sounds amazing. It should do, really. I had it set too low when I did it at lunchtime. And it was just quiet and really in the back, so hopefully we've got it set just right now. So I just thought I'd pop on and say hello. I'm probably going to end up talking to myself for 10 minutes and then clearing off. But let's see. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. So I've been to work. I've just had a quick, not a very successful day today, to be honest, but not every day can be amazing, can it really? But hopefully tomorrow will be better. I'm going to have an early start tomorrow. Get stuck in. Ooh, didn't do too bad. The card machines, the totals have just come through for the card machine, and they're not looking too bad. So, had some new suspension fitted. And now it's developed a squeak, so I've got to go back with that tomorrow, which is a right pain. It's just life, I suppose, isn't it? Everything's mass-produced nowadays. So we can't always be right. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So it's 11:24 p.m. So hopefully we should get a few people from the US of A in. You never know. Because it's early for them. Hello, 2 people. Nice to see you. Say hello in the comments for a shout out. Let's see how it's going. That was quick. It all disappeared. It's a bit like TikTok. Let's have about that much success on TikTok. People just turn up and clear off. So we've got the 22-ounce American coffee cup full of Rington's tea. Nom nom nom. Just got to wait for it to cool a bit. It's feels like it's just come out of the kettle. Let me just see if I've got it on the right one. That one. There we go. Not as anybody's going to type anything, but you never know, do you? Might get a few of the regulars in saying hello. Maybe not. Maybe we'll. Bought this off Amazon. It's about 9 foot long, so if you're looking for I hope to actually just post this on a video on my channel, point people towards it. So if you've got kids that can't put the phones down and they damage the cords constantly, this is a braided cord, and they last an awful lot longer than those other ones do, especially if you don't use it like I haven't done this. But I say it's about, I think it's 6 or 9 feet long. So they can sit on the settee and plug it in the bloody wall, can't they? So just let me know if I'm coming through all right. Say hello or something. Obviously, it is nice to chat to people. And if you type in the chat, I will answer you. Otherwise, it just makes it all about me. And quite difficult, really, I suppose. With the other one on the e-cigarettes, I've always got something to talk about on the e-cigarette channel because I know a fair amount about them over the last 6 to 8 years. But on this one, it's always a bit of a thing. But I've found if you go live on your phone, it puts you out to the same people as what watch your YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So there's a lot more people come in, but also a lot more people go out. So you don't really get an audience that wants to chat. Hello, Razor Yard. So you're going to get rid of Pete in England. I don't know what that means. Pete? Which Pete? As in P-E-A-T, or I don't know what that means. You're going to have to explain. I'm not one for watching the news, so They're on about trying to get rid of smoking. That's the next thing they're going to do. And if you drive a car anywhere, they're going to charge you a fortune. But the reassuring thing is, for me, I didn't actually vote for this crowd. Ragheads. No. I think the correct way to answer that would be the British public want to reduce the amount of people that are coming in through the immigration that aren't doing anything for the country. That's what the general consensus is. Obviously, we've had immigration here forever. We've had West Indians and Asians, and everything's gone pretty well. But we just seem to now have an influx of people coming in who have travelled many miles to come to live a free lifestyle, when in actual fact the country can't afford it. We're just the same as every other country. We had the pandemic here as well, and they're not doing too well. So we could do without paying for somebody else's life as well. There's the politically correct answer. Take from that what you will. Ragheads. All right, you didn't like the answer to the question. Anyway, thanks for popping in and popping back out. It's amazing. 4 people in, 1 person in, 2 people in, 7 people in. I did a live stream last week and there was 20 people in all at once, and then 0. So they disappeared just as quick as they come. Hello, CC Coils. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. So is the audio doing all right? I'm just on a phone, believe it or not, because what they're saying is if you come in on a phone and you've got it in the vertical mode, puts it out to your shorts feed, and you get a lot of other different people in. They get notified that you've gone live. So that's what I'm trying to do. But it does seem a little bit like TikTok, where you're talking to quite a few people 1 minute and everybody's disappeared the next. So I've set up the interview go in a proper mic stand. Look at this. Like something from a record company. Oh, good. Yeah, it's the Rode Go setup. You know, the 2 microphones with the transmitter that plug in the bottom of your phone. But I'm just in the kitchen, and sometimes it can be a bit echoey, and if you have it too loud, it picks up the fridge when it's buzzing. So, yeah, that's right. This afternoon's was really quiet, but I'd got it set wrong. The microphone was only set on setting 1, and it should have been on 2. I didn't realise. I was trying to listen to it back myself just to get a test for it, and a lot of it you couldn't hear at all. So hopefully we should be doing okay now. These microphones are extortionately expensive, and I use them very rarely. But I've actually found a use for them now. I'm actually on an iPhone 7 with no SIM card in it, connected up to the just connect up to the Wi-Fi. That's all it is. It's a job, innit? I mean, if you want to get into something serious, I tell you what, Rode NT1A, but then you need an audio box for it, so it's just adding 2 and adding 2 and adding 2. If you want to get a decent sound, you want something. I'm trying to think of the name of the cables that go in the back of the microphone now. My brain's shot. You want something that plugs in and then into an audio box, but then you need something to boost that, and it all gets about 300 quid-ish. It's ridiculous. But if you get these 2 microphones, well, you get a microphone and a sender, then you need a lead to plug it into somewhere, and then you need the Rode Interview Go mic stand, and it all just mounts up again. If you want to do something decent, you always want to have to pay, aren't you, really? You've got to work out what you make out of it and see if you can afford it. That's the way it is. So I'm in a little bit earlier than normal because it's been a bit of a quiet night, to be honest, but I just thought I'd pop in and say hello. It's lunchtime. I had quite a few views in the end. Like I say, I can't see why. Oh, yeah, well, that's right, yeah. Rode NT1 about 150. And pick up an audio box. But then again, then you go into that and they're 70 or 80 quid. And it just goes on and on and on. I don't know how much. Just have a look go on CEX and see if there's any Rode Goes on there. As long as they work all right. But say the only thing is you have to charge them up. Or even just get one of those bloody USB ones. The only thing is with USB ones, you get a bit of background noise because you have to turn them up full, don't you? XLR microphones. That's when you need an audio box to go with it. But say it depends what you're going to do. I'd sort of wanted to get a really good setup. That's why I bought that SM7B. And then I went out and bought the that's right. Yeah. There is some really good USB ones. I say it depends what you want to do. If you're doing it just for a hobby and you're enjoying doing that, then fair enough. As long as they can hear what you're saying, it's near enough, isn't it? But I think sometimes what you've got to realise is with a USB mic, it needs to be in your face. You need to get it needs to be there, like that, because it's not going to pick anything up. Was it Marantz? I think Ian bought a Marantz. That one, Benny's always surprises me because he has that quite away from him, and that picks up all right. Let's turn this around a little bit. That's better. Now the microphone's in the way. I'm doing what you do. 1, 2. That should be all right there anyway. So I've turned it up on the second one, so it should pick up all right. They are really good. You just pick up the whole room because it's not sounded out. But if I go upstairs, I'll be sat there hours. So I just thought I'd fire another one up here. It just seems the way, that channel's actually growing on its own now. There's people actually following for what's on the thing. I did some YouTube promotion to boost it, and it's worked pretty well. But now I've just let it run on its own because there's no good keep promoting your videos to people because you just end up with 1 million subscribers, but you want it needs to grow generically. So you've got the people to watch all the stuff. So, what audio app are you using? That one, there was an app where you could, I can't remember what it's called. You download it into your computer and then you download another thing. And you can actually control the mic. And you could turn it up massively loud. We used to use it when we had those McDonald's headsets. And it worked really well. Bill will know the name of it. If you ask Bill, if you can ever catch him, between golf. Audio Wave Banana. Yeah. I can't remember what that other one was called. It might not even work now. But I finally got the setup I wanted. I wanted the SM7B. And I wanted a Rodecaster. I got the Duo, I didn't bother getting the Pro. Because it's another 150 quid. I just got the Duo. I've got 2 mics plugged into it, so I can use which one I want. I can use the NT1, which seems to be better if you're doing something. It picks you up better if you're leaning over and doing something. Where's the other one? Graham told me about our. Never listen to anything Graham says. I can't remember what the name of that app is. It's probably, it's 4 or 5 years ago, so it's probably not doing anything in it now. So, they've probably packed up with it. But did it work well? It worked well for the McDonald's headsets because they were quiet and you couldn't turn them up. I might as well have a vape. There's nobody here. I don't think that if you do this on TikTok, they throw all the people out. That's that Onyx. Not the Salts one. I got it with Freebase, but it's 12mg Onyx. It's bloody lovely. I can highly recommend that. It's perfect for a pod. So I've took my mate a job for tomorrow morning for 8:30 because I don't start well the afternoon. I don't know why I took it because he couldn't do it. He'd already told me he couldn't do anything because he's going to do something else. So now I'm going to get on myself and do it. So they'll wonder what's going on with me popping out there early. They'll think I'm done. Thing is, I've been away for 2 weeks, laid on a sunbed. And you just need to sometimes go out and generate some income, don't you, really? Because I'm going away again soon. I'm going to Benidorm in 3 weeks, 3 weeks on Monday. So, hello Neil Pitts, how you doing? Nice to see you. Getting a few people in. Be nice if somebody stays for a while. It's just nice to fire a live up sometimes, isn't it, really? You know, without all the intro, you just press go live. I was talking for ages earlier, and then all of a sudden I had a knock at the door, and it was my mum and dad. And then she walked in and went, "Oh, we're disturbing you." I said, "No, not at all." The old man's 88 years old. And every time you get a chance to see somebody who's 88 years old, it's a good thing, because there'll be one day you can't see him. And I'd bought him a bottle of brandy back from Spain, and he was well chuffed. I bought him some Carlos 1, which is very expensive in other countries, but I managed to get him a litre for 25 quid. And it's nice. It's a nice brandy. I don't know about everyone, there's only about 3 or 4 of us here. I did actually think we'd get a few more in, to be honest, at this time of night. That's why I thought I'd try it. I'm not going to stay too long. I'm only going to stay well about midnight, because I need to get to bed. Because I've made myself a long day now. But usually I find out if you actually get stuck in and have a bit of a go, the rewards come back to help out. That bank holiday weekend we were going away, and I didn't realise we were going to have to save some money up. So I just went out and earned it, and that's the way to do it, isn't it? Anybody on iOS? Anybody tried the new iOS 18? I've got mine. You can't. This is just the 7 that I'm using now, but the 14 I've just got that on iOS 8. I never really noticed any difference. Only like I've made the emblems real big on the screen and got rid of the writing underneath. And you can put widgets on the screen now, like you could on a Samsung for donkey's years. So if you want to know what the weather's like in the place you've just been on holiday, it's all well and good. I don't really think my job needs to worry about weather forecasts. If it's raining, you put your wipers on, and when it stops raining, you turn them off. How's the coils doing, Ian? Are you ready for? Are you going to Expo? Are you getting organised for Expo? I'm not going to make it. I'm definitely not going to make it. I like to go for the full 3 days in May. Save up and then do it properly, because it gets a bit I couldn't afford to do it just at the minute, to be really honest, because it's one of them places where if you can't afford to go, you're better off not going. It's just a shadow. I bought this microphone stand. I can't remember why, and it's been stood there doing absolutely nothing for months and months. And then I stuck that proper microphone clip on that you use for singing microphones. Getting there slowly, yeah. And it works a treat. So it's something else I've utilised that I bought. I go through mad stages of buying stuff, and you think, oh, I probably need one of them. And then when you get it, you think, why did I buy that? And sometimes you send things back, and sometimes you don't bother. And this was a bit of a result, really. I'm pleased I didn't send it back. It's just absolutely perfect for what it's doing now. Let's start a radio station. I don't know what's happened to Connor. I ain't spoken to him for ages. When is it? Is it the last weekend of October, Ian? So I'll be away. I've got 4 or 5 days off a couple of weeks before, so I can't really afford it. Mick, why do so many Europeans like Jack Daniels or Jim Beam? I drank it when I was in my teens and early 20s, and it's not good to me. It's all to do with marketing, isn't it? It's been marketed over here as like it's the elixir of life and the real taste of the Kentucky. So, Jack Daniels over here for a litre would be $45. Jim Beam's is a cheaper brand, obviously over here. And it's a reasonable sort of whiskey, but I mean I like Bullet and those type of things, but you're getting up there. They get really expensive. I really do like Gentleman Jacks. That's beautiful, nice and smooth. But we probably just don't have it, with the price of it. I think that is what it is. We tend to think that Jack Daniels, because it's 40 quid a bottle, must be good. But I personally, I like Bullet. I like what's that Bison? Is it? There's a Bison one I think I like. But to be honest, I put Coke in it. So, because you need to with Jim Beam's, and you need to with Jack Daniels really, because it's fairly rough, isn't it? So what would be your preferred? Maker's Mark? I like that. I had a couple of bad nights on that, to be honest. Maker's Mark. It's that blows your ass off, that stuff. But I've been drinking beer for quite some time, and I've put that much weight on it. When I was on holiday, I was trying to get off the Sun Lounger, and it was a bit of a job to get off it, and I thought I'm going to have to drop some beef off here, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. So I've not touched a beer all week. I've just been, to be honest, I've been drinking gin. I quite like gin anyway. It's nice and fizzy. And you drink it with a light tonic and you hardly get any calories in it, so it's the obvious one to go for. Bombay Sapphire, I actually like that. Do you know, I've managed after 40 years, 45 years, 44 years, I've managed to get an ingrowing toenail on my left big toe. And the pain is excruciating. It absolutely hurts like hell. I'm on antibiotics for it. That's how bad it hurts. Heaven's Door. I don't know. I don't know if that's available over here. Heaven's Door. That seems about right, doesn't it? If I want a Scotch, I'll go for. I do like single malts. But they've got really, really expensive. You know, you haven't really got sort of 45, 50 quid. I can shift some gear when I get going. And a 50 quid bottle that's only a pint, basically, 70 cl, you know, you can finish it off in 3/4 of a night. And it's just an expensive way of going on, really, isn't it? I like to buy them in litres, so you've got plenty to go at. You tried Maker's Mark? I like Maker's Mark. But I say it's quite strong in it. It's a strong brew. 43% ABV. You know, you've had a couple of glasses of that. I suppose the other thing over here, Neil, is we tend to drink to excess, really. Where somebody, you know, when you see these shows in the US and they're like, well, I drank 3 bottles of wine last year, so I'm going to go to AA. We call that breakfast. So, you know, it's that's what we do. It's just how we do it. But we're all just different, aren't we? I don't think I can drink as much as Mark Fagan. Johnny Walker, just to make whiskey sourdough. Do you really? Now, Johnny Walker over here is, again, a black is about 40. If you get a litre of black, it's about 40 quid. If you get double black, it's about 45, maybe slightly less. If you start getting onto the platinum, and the platinum and the blue is 150 quid a bottle over here, 200 quid a bottle. It's a lot of money. Alcohol's quite expensive here. But I suppose it is in the States, isn't it, really? Johnny Walker, which one did you get? The red label? I mean, I don't like that, to be honest. It shouldn't really be called Johnny Walker, it's a bit rough. Yeah, so over here, it's it's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of bloody money. Yeah, $70. All right, and you just get that to mix into sours. I've never had a whiskey sour, so I wouldn't know, to be honest. Yeah, I suppose it depends what your income is. I mean, you know, just after the pandemic year, we were making a really good living, and then a lot of money's disappeared again. Everything's very seasonal. People aren't spending just at the minute. September's always a bit iffy because people have been away, took the kids away on holiday, and obviously we have a school uniform every year, and then everybody has to buy the kids' school uniform in the last sort of weeks of August and beginning of September. So everybody skins, and you can tell there's nobody anywhere. It's like a ghost town. But I say, a few years ago, we were just riding around like madmen every day. There's a few more cabs started as well, which got rid of a bit of the work. It's just life, isn't it, really? Obviously, my daughter got poorly, so I don't want to keep going on about that, but that takes away a little bit of the interest. All right. See, a 70 CL, if I had a mate round, we'd probably need 1.5. That's what I mean. It's I tell you what, I've been up and down with drinks for a lot of years, and there was one bit I was drinking a hell of a lot too much, and I actually made myself ill with it. But it was quite common for me to drink 3/4 of a litre of vodka in one night on a regular basis. Hello, mate. How you doing? All right. I just thought I was firing up on the live. I obviously listened to the one back, and the audio wasn't very good. I just thought I'd see if I could streamline the setup so I know what I'm doing. You won't believe the level of professionalism here, Arnie. We've got the top-notch microphone, which is a Rode Go, one of the Rode Go kits, and the interview mic stuck on a proper mic stand, with proper thing for the phone and a proper clamp to put the phone in. Everything it's all organised. It's the levels of professionalism are just amazing. And still, I only get 4 people. I did one sat on the balcony when I was in Spain. Now, 280 views in no time at all. It was unbelievable. I've never had so many people come in on this channel at all. Obviously, with the vape, you've got the community that all come in, and you get quite a few people in. But this channel's not quite the same. People come to watch reviews and not really to watch lives. But I say, while I was in Spain, it just filled up. 280 people in one of them, and about 250 in the other one I did. And there weren't anything special. I think it was just the view that come forward. The old man look as well. Look at that old guy with his grey beard. So I've shaved it all off now. That's the only problem when you've got a bit of a dome. The lighting is kitchen lighting, but obviously this is up against a white wall, or a cream. I think it's off-white. It's like a grey blue, or a bluey white, to say. And it gives a real good background, and you stand out well in front of it. So just looks around for something to talk about. My dad came to see me today. I was on about that ingrowing toenail, and I had one completely removed when I was 14 years old, and I went back 18 months later and had the one that's playing up now, half removed. So it's a shame I didn't take it off all them years ago, because I've never had any problem with the other one. And he said, apparently the doctor, before he took that other toenail off, was going to actually take the wrong one off. That video you put up about where you were staying, it looked like a lot of construction going on. Yeah, well, if you look, I should have explained about that. That construction there, that hotel has been built, or in the process of being built for the last 23 years. so there wasn't any construction. That it's a subject of a council legal battle because the hotel was 22 floors high, and they hadn't finished building on top of it, and it was supposed to only be 8. But a big hotel chain had decided they were going to build it, and for the last 23 years, it's been going back to court and then back out again and then back in again. But that was all it was. I should have told you about that. And they're going to actually make them demolish it. But that concrete's been exposed to the elements now for 23 years, so it wouldn't be safe anyway. Those cranes have been stood there for 23 years, so they wouldn't be safe either, would they? They'd have to take them down and test them all before they put them back up. Because when we got there, we sort of next morning we looked up and thought, oh no, I hope it's not going to be a building site for the next 2 weeks, and then nobody came. Anyway, nobody came the next day, and nobody came the next day. So I thought, I'm going to Google this, and it comes straight up. There's a big hotel chain that own the site, and they've just been trying to get past the local laws, and the local council won't allow them to do it. But it's so high, and it's really close to the next building. I bet the people next door don't get any daylight in. All they can see is this bloody building site. It must be awful. But that's the only construction. I didn't see any more. But it's gorgeous. It was a gorgeous place. It's like being in the middle of, I don't know, not Chicago because the buildings are bigger there, but probably Orlando. It's like being in Orlando with a beach. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful place. 30 degrees every day, 30 degrees Celsius. Really chilled back, sort of laid back atmosphere, no noisy disco pubs. Just a really nice place to be honest. But sadly, you have to come home and do it again, don't you? You have to earn it all again and go back. But I would like to go there again if it all pans out. But obviously, with my daughter not being very well, you can't plan anything in advance, that far in advance. So it's a little bit luck of the draw when you actually, you find out that you can go. It's just luck of the draw where you end up staying. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been to the US 6 times. I've been to Vegas. I went to Vegas for a week when my daughter got married. I've stayed in the Luxor. I've been to Chicago to deliver some paperwork for a company that I used to do a lot of work for, some sales brochures. So I only got into O'Hare, and then I went to the convention centre, which was about 2 miles away. I stayed there for about 2 or 3 days. That was actually the first time I've been to the States. And then I went to, in 2004, I went to Florida, stayed a week in Orlando, and then went back for a second week in Clearwater. And then 2006, I went back, stayed a week in Orlando, and then stayed a week in St. Pete's. And then we've been to like Kissimmee area and stayed for twice and stayed in golf villas. So that's it, 6 times. I enjoyed it. I love the States. I've always wanted to go. I've always liked American cars. I've always wanted to drive an American car. When I was there in 2016, I went down to a friend who I know on the internet. If you look on the channel, on this channel, pretty well back, one of the first lives I ever did on here, I was talking to a guy called Doug, and he owned a Crown Vic. In fact, he still does. It's not the same one, he changed it, but I drove his ex-police car around Tampa. That time when I went, the first time I went, I had a Cadillac DeVille. No, I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Second time I went, I had a Cadillac DeVille. Third time, one of those QX 40s or whatever they were, QC 40s. Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I'll ever make it again, to be honest. It's land yacht, yeah. That Cadillac really was a land yacht. It was enormous. all the white leather seats. You know, I sometimes see them on films and I think, God, yeah, because obviously they're an old car now, aren't they? 2004, 20 years old. I had an Audi A6 at the time, and it made it feel really small. But after a few days, the suspension on the Cadillac was really soft, and you know, it wasn't really a cornering sort of car. But I suppose there's not that many corners, is there? The Grand Cherokee Jeep, I thought I was going to be king of the road when I rented that. Went out on the I4. First thing that came past me was a pickup with twin wheels on the back, with a crew cab, with about 8 people in it. It's amazing, you know, massive physique, people of colour hanging out the windows, and so I wasn't king of the road. I nearly had the last time I went, I had a Ford, them big 7 or 8 seat things, look like a Ford van. Can't think what they call them. Not Explorer, Expedition. I had a Ford Expedition. To be honest, it was a bit shit. It was a bit faulty. Sometimes you wouldn't go into gear and stuff like that. There was a fault on it. You had to keep stopping and starting it. It was a bit of a pile, to be honest. But the time before we went, I upgraded to that QX Infinity QX, like a Range Rover shaped thing, and that was beautiful. It's still got the plastic on the door handles inside. It was absolutely brand new. It had Axminster carpets in it, and it's a big V8 and all. It was beautiful. I had a little tear in my eye when I had to give that back at the hire place. But that is the only problem. I tend to rent a car and then go and spend another $600, $800 when I get there on the bigger one. I love Clearwater. Clearwater was fabulous. Gulf of Mexico, walking in the sea, and it was warm. And boats out in the thing, speed boats going with dolphins behind them. I've done the usual things, SeaWorld, and you know, I'm not so keen. SeaWorld now, if I was to look at it, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd go there now. I've changed my mind in the last 20 years. But I've done all the parks. I'm too old to go in them now. I won't fit in the bloody seats. That's the other thing. Because they were pretty tight last time I went. I went to Miami and went down to the South Beach and the old. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to do Miami. That main strip with the Art Deco buildings and all the fancy cars coming past. But I say the trouble is now, you've got to have the inclination to save up probably $8,000 to go away for 2 weeks. And that takes a lot of hours sat in the cab to do that. And obviously the exchange rate when I first went there was nearly $2 to the pound, so it was like living for free. Whereas now it's about 130, and everything in America is a lot more expensive than what it is over here. So it would be a really expensive time, you know. And you've got to work out is, you know, I just couldn't do it. I'll be honest. I ain't got the inclination to earn the money to do it. That's the other thing. That's the actual truth. So I can't plan anything anyway with Luby now. Monsoon season where? What, in Florida? We've had a couple of nice days here. I'm still wearing shorts, which for the middle of September in the UK is pretty good. It's cool in the mornings as well, and I've noticed that I've put, because all the way through the summer I have the shower on cool, and it's gone up a notch. It's definitely gone up a notch now. Wow, I'm pleased I'm not there now then. We've done Caribbean as well. I've been to Mexico a couple of times. I've been to Dominican Republic probably 5 times. So I've done a little bit of Caribbean. But we tend to just go to Spain now. 2.5 hours on an aeroplane, you jump off and off you go. And you're only probably an hour away from where you're staying, so it's not difficult. You just, you know, that flight's a long way. I mean, it's only 8 hours to Florida now for me because they have a Dreamliner that flies direct over water. So you're not. The last time we went from Birmingham, we were in 8 hours, and with the Dreamliner, the air conditioning's different, or the air on the plane's different, and you get off it and you don't feel like you've been on a plane. You just feel like you've been on a bus. first time I ever flew was like 10 hours nearly. And you got off and you felt like it's on the front of your brain with a brick. You know, it's all your sinuses were really heavy and stuff like that. But last time I went, we flew over, drove down. My daughter was there with her husband. We met them at their hotel, and we went down to Kissimmee. And we, had a few beers and then went to bed and just got into it. Lovely. It's beautiful around there. We actually found a pub the last one we stayed was a gated community that had its own bar just outside the gate. So we went there and had a meal, drinking Guinness in this bar. It was nice and all. It was good. Went to a quiz night and stuff like that. It was good crack. Just something different. We tend now, as we've got older, don't really go on a vacation or a holiday. We just go and blend into the local community for a couple of weeks, and you get a lot better rather than a tourist holiday. It's a lot better experience. Anyway, people, it's come to that time of night. If you're one of the 4 people that hasn't hit the thumbs up button, if you really could, it might help. It might help, you never know. I'll have to hit the thumbs up myself. Thank you very much for popping in. I need to get to bed, it's just going past midnight. And obviously, as you can see, I don't need a lot of it, but I really do need a little bit of beauty sleep. One thing I noticed on that live stream, I've got a tan. Anyway, catch you all soon. Thanks ever so much for popping in. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much for coming. Catch you all soon when I press the right button.